Yeah, Tyler, so the CDC and, of course, Dr. Fauci confirming this first case of Omicron. This was confirmed in San Francisco, California, and a traveler who returned from South Africa November 22nd. That person tested positive on November 29th. We just heard from Dr. Fauci. The person was fully vaccinated, though Dr. Fauci said he does not believe the person was boosted, has mild symptoms that are resolving. Also, the person's contacts have all been contacted and found negative. So right now, this is not a surprise to a lot of people that we have found the first case of Omicron in the United States. More are expected to be found. Questions still to be answered, of course, is this more transmissible? Is this more severe? Does it evade the protections of vaccines more than other variants? All of those things still question marks and will likely be a few weeks until we find out. But Dr. Fauci asked there, if this is less severe, perhaps more contagious, would it be good for a lot of folks to get it and help us reach herd immunity? That is a narrative that has started circulating over the last few days, and Dr. Fauci really warning against it as sort of a dangerous proposition, especially as we do not know the characteristics of the variant at this point. Guys?
Yeah, I mean, Meg, certainly not a surprise based on everything we have heard from your own reporting and experts, medical experts, in recent days about the fact that this was largely inevitable that we were going to see this variant come here to the U.S., though the market is really digesting this right now. The Nasdaq has just turned lower. The Dow is basically hugging the flat line. The S&P is well off the highs of the day. We've got crude turning lower. We've got yields ticking lower now as well. Where do we go from here? And I asked that because I know there were a lot of questions that reporters were just fielding to Dr. Fauci. He did not answer or change the stance around booster shots, for example, and what vaccination status actually means in this country. But is the expectation that we're going to start to see some new policy rolled out, particularly where vaccinations are concerned, in light of this?
Well, certainly there were questions about whether the definition of fully vaccinated should change to include a booster dose. And right now, that is not something the CDC has said they're doing right now. Fully vaccinated means 2 doses of Pfizer or Moderna or 1 of Johnson & Johnson. However, they are recommending all adults who are 6 months out from those 2 shots to go and get a booster. That was guidance that was updated because of worries about Omicron. Of course, there are probably broader concerns that this will lead to more restrictions and a slowdown in folks going back to work and getting back out into the real world to the extent they haven't yet, or that it'll cause a reversion to previous behaviors. And it's really interesting to hear from Dr. Fauci because in so many ways, guys, doesn't it feel like deja vu to March of 2020 as we're having a press conference with Dr. Fauci talking about the first case of this variant identified in the United States. But we are in such a different position, and his answers really showed that. We've got vaccines that are expected to hold up to some degree against this. We don't know to what degree yet. We've got therapeutics in the monoclonal antibodies, although some might be affected, but more coming along in the antiviral drugs. And we know what works. So that is the message from public health officials right now. Take the steps to protect yourself, but don't panic.